Today also marked the beginning of the trial against the only officer charged in connection with the death of Breonna Taylor, who was killed as officers carried out a no-knock warrant. Joining us now to unpack the day's events is ABC News contributor and civil rights lawyer with the Cochran firm, Channa Lloyd. Thanks so much for joining us again, Channa. So in this trial, the officer is charged with endangering Breonna Taylor's neighbors. One of those testified today and gave a window into what life has been like since that day. I want to play some of his sound for you as he testified in court with a photo of where the bullet holes came through his apartment behind him.
I literally, like 1 or 2 more inches and I would have been shot, which kind of upsets me because I think about it all the time and I'm like, my son would have never even got to meet me. I would have never even got to meet my son.
When approving these kinds of warrants, how much do judges take into consideration the risk presented to others like Breonna Taylor's neighbor?
You know, it's interesting. When these judges are presented with these search warrants, they have as much information as the officers have, but they don't always have context about what's around the address or other things of that nature. So sometimes going into that, it is a little bit of a blind process. They're relying on the law enforcement that's seeking the search warrant to ensure that they're giving as much information and that they're going to be executed with a lot more precision.
A Louisville Metro PD sergeant also took the stand today. He testified that surveillance of the apartment was done prior to carrying out the search warrant and kind of blamed a shift in officers for the chaos. However, he was not involved in the serving of the warrant. Is it common for law enforcement officers to change their plans and swap out officers?
You know, Lindsay, not often, because what happens is they have shift change. Although it's a case, it's not always worked by the same officers. So there's handover and things do get lost. I think it's very significant that a sergeant would come out and testify for the prosecution, because clearly that means that there was something about this that really didn't sit well with him.
And let's pivot to another trial today, the federal trial of the 3 officers in the killing of George Floyd. Jurors have been deliberating since 11 o'clock this morning. On average, how long do jurors typically take to deliver verdicts on a case like this?
Well, you know, juries are always a wild card. We can never predict. But what you usually find is that when jurors are taking this much time, there is something that's causing them to re-look through the information. Jurors always want to be sure that they come to the right verdict, and they're very clear about wanting to assign the proper responsibility for the proper crimes to the individuals. In this particular case, I'm actually not surprised they're taking this amount of time, because these other officers weren't all necessarily directly correlated to the death. They were people that were there and they were participating, but in different vantage points, different what information they had, what they knew, their experience level. Each one of those is very distinctly different. So I am not surprised that the jury is taking their time to comb through that to be sure that they come to the right verdict.
Right, different levels of culpability there with those officers. Channa Lloyd, thank you so much as always.
Always a pleasure.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.